Emily. Good day, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We are so pleased to be sponsors of GPUC here at Cavallo, and had a great time in fabulous Fargo in November. I understand the weather is a wee bit colder this week than it was that week before Thanksgiving. But regardless, had a great time, always do, and so pleased to support implementation specialists in their annual get-together for customers and general users of Dynamics GP. It's all good. So hey, as a sponsor, we are here to talk about new offerings. And today we're going to spend time on Analytics Cloud, a brand new offering from Cavallo. Okay, I'll do a little intro of Cavallo real quick in case you don't know or are unfamiliar with that name. And then we'll jump right in and take a look at it. So I'm excited about this application. And if you were at GPUC in November or you attended virtually, then you heard Terry Healy's keynote on Wednesday, and you heard in no uncertain terms really that Dynamics GP development will continue for at least 6 years, and if not longer. So those that want to stay on-prem, those that want to stay with Dynamics GP and stay with the solution that they've put together with Core GP and all the ISVs they leverage each day, can do just that. And implementation specialists is here to support that, as are many other resellers in the space, which is great. So other options are out there in the cloud, but if you want to stay on-prem, that's great. We are supporting our customers on premises, and we are supporting customers who want to look at cloud. That's why my post-GPUG days here at Cavallo are working out really nice for me. I celebrated my first anniversary here at the company formerly known as SalesPad yesterday. So that's all good, and I am enjoying myself. Our ties to GP are strong, but we are spending some time looking at other ecosystems as well. So today we're going to talk about Analytics Cloud, a brand new offering, and while it will tie into other ERP systems later, it is coming out and ready for Dynamics GP today. So that's the good news, a brand new offering. We see the development news coming from Terry Healy, and we're going to continue to develop new products and make our existing offerings even better because we know Dynamics GP isn't going anywhere. So that's all good. I'm excited about that, needless to say. Okay, so here's the agenda for today. Emily, I'm on a second slide, and just to make sure that you can see my screen properly. So I'm going to introduce.
Doing great.
Okay, good. I'm going to introduce Analytics Cloud and talk a little bit of history about Cavallo, real brief. Then we'll get into the product right away and show you the power and simplicity and ease of use that Analytics Cloud brings to the table. We've had a few beta customers that have given us some initial feedback, so we'll review some of that. And then we'll talk about potential next steps if you're interested, which I hope after this presentation you will be. Okay, so effective June 28th of last year, SalesPad rebranded itself to Cavallo. Okay, this is not one of those deals where an equity company came in and bought SalesPad from the original owner and gave it a new name. Okay, the original owner of SalesPad is the original owner today. All we did was rebrand. There's no change in ownership, no change in executive management. We just came up with a non-descriptive name that we can use as we get into other ecosystems while continuing to support our customers, past and future, in Dynamics GP. Okay, so Cavallo is the new name, an Italian for horse. Leonardo da Vinci is someone we admire in Grand Rapids, where the company's headquarters is, and his Gran Cavallo statue, there are 2 of them in the world, one in Milan, Italy, and one in Grand Rapids, where our company's headquarters is. So the tie back to Western Michigan is important, and SalesPad, a great name, is no longer a company name, but rather a product name. So if you are running Dynamics GP with SalesPad Desktop, you are now running Dynamics GP with Cavallo SalesPad. Okay, so SalesPad, the product name won't go anywhere because that's part of our history, but the new name is Cavallo, and we will make our mark on the Dynamics GP space and others as we go forward. So it's exciting. All right, so SalesPad, now known as Cavallo, almost 20 years old. Okay, company was founded in 2003 by a distributor who was running his company on Dynamics GP and didn't like going to transactions, inquiry, cards. He wanted an overlay that gave him the opportunity to manage customers and inventory and purchase orders and things of that nature all in one layout. So we found a developer and they put their heads together and created what was called SalesPad Desktop, now Cavallo SalesPad. So those two gentlemen are still the owners of the company. None of that has changed. And we are now taking our distribution experience forward into other areas. And Analytics Cloud is one of those areas. We've served over 1,000 distributors and we have created value that exceeds $100 million. All right, our software brings efficiencies to distributors who are working on very thin margins to begin with. Okay, so if the proper tools are in front of the people working in a distribution business or working in a business where a component of the business model is distribution, then they'll be more efficient in their day-to-day tasks. They'll sell more, they'll make more, and the company's bottom line will be better. All right. Our retention rate is at 92%. Okay, that's really excellent in my view. It's not perfect, but we have retained 92% of the customers we've signed up in the Dynamics GP ecosystem since 2003. That's not bad. And our NPS is 95. Again, not perfect, but very, very good. And we are working to keep those numbers at those high levels or make them even higher. If you look carefully, you'll see some of our customers here in the background: Gorilla Glue, Blender Bottle, Sunbum, Hungry Howie's. A lot of names that you've heard of are our customers because they're doing distribution on Dynamics GP and they're doing it well and they're growing and scaling their businesses with our help. This is our wheelhouse, okay? And I won't spend a lot of time going over this slide. It's got way too many sections of it, okay? But this is the customer to cash cycle. This is Cavallo's wheelhouse, all right? From the time a customer places an order in that first column under sell to the time the money is collected for that shipment in column 6, this is where we excel, all right? So if you are selling products, if you're distributing products, you need to be efficient in all of these areas from the time that call or electronic order comes in to the time the money is collected. And the more efficient you are there, the better your margins are going to be and the better your overall efficiency is going to be. That's what we do well, cash, customer to cash cycle. So today let's talk about how our solutions stack up so we can get to the intelligence part, right? At the core of any business is the ERP system. And in this case, it's Dynamics GP, one of the most popular mid-market ERP solutions in North America. All right, I've been in the Dynamics GP space, I hate to say this, 25 years now. And I've learned a lot, met some tremendous people, and watched it find great success with many different types of businesses. Execution talks about the day-to-day activities that those working in Dynamics GP with ISVs like Cavallo SalesPad help bring efficiencies to the company's business. You've got lots of folks interacting with customers and inventory and vendors and whatnot, and all those folks need to have the right tools in front of them so they can execute their day-to-day duties efficiently. All right, so we bring that to the table with Cavallo SalesPad. Inside Cavallo SalesPad is a mechanism for control, configurable workflows, all right? And while Dynamics GP has great workflow, right? It's in the box and easy to use. You can manage your general ledger ads or make sure that batches don't post without approval and things like that. The fact of the matter is the workflow built into Cavallo SalesPad, where this control mechanism comes in, that is configurable and really set up for a distribution business. Okay, so your workflow cues how a document goes through the system each day, during the day. That's how we control and really understand the data and your process better. So when we talk about execution, we mean the day-to-day tools, the day-to-day tasks of, say, a customer service rep or a sales resource at your company who's interacting with customers and prospects, and then the control mechanism that helps control the flow of data and documents through your system so that your company is efficient in its practices. Okay, so those two things we've been doing and gotten really, really good at over the past 20 years. Now we're talking intelligence, okay? Like I said before, Terry Healy has proclaimed, and when Terry makes an announcement, I read it twice, that Dynamics GP development will continue for the next 6 years. And that's great news. I mean, for everybody who loves GP and has invested time and resources into it, this is great news. So we're doubling down on that. We're not only making our execution and control tools better by adding more efficiencies and bringing more items into play here to make them really complete, we've now added actionable insights that are real time, that are machine learning driven. All right, Cavallo's intelligence piece is really a unique offering. It's called Analytics Cloud, and it's really superb. There's nothing else like it in the Dynamics GP space. There just isn't. And I've been, like I said, in this space for 25 years, and I've never seen a product like this. Cavallo Analytics Cloud builds on top of the other solutions in our portfolio, the control piece, the execution piece, reporting on the effectiveness and efficiency of a customer's day-to-day processes and all the workflow queues that you've got to manage all the time. It also points out areas for further improvement and optimization. So if there's a problem somewhere in your system, you'll be able to determine where it is, focus on it, and finalize it, right? Bring triage to it. Make sure it doesn't cause a problem for what's coming down the line or makes your customer unhappy, okay? So with Cavallo execution, or I'm sorry, with Cavallo Intelligence Analytics Cloud, we've really got some great stuff to show you. So let's get into Analytics Cloud here real quick. All right. Real-time actionable insights, okay? This is your distributor's dashboard, right? Lots of people have integrated Power BI to their Dynamics GP data. It's great stuff, makes for great visuals. I really like it. But we decided to take it a step further and create a dashboard that was built for a distribution business. Again, one of our two founders is a distributor who was running his business on Dynamics GP, and he wanted a better interface. So one was created, which created the company. Now we're talking Analytics Cloud, being able to take data that's running through your system today, being able to make comparisons to data from, say, 2021 and look at it, because all of those documents running through your system every single day, those are signals, that's data. And if you can harness that data in meaningful ways for your type of business, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to make things more efficient, and your customers are going to be happier because you'll have fewer roadblocks and fewer bottlenecks along the way. So we've created Analytics Cloud with intuitive visualizations and automated alerts. It's got machine learning built into it, so it learns what you're looking for. You can set up your own alerts to look for problems, be that with an item, a customer, a dollar amount, a margin, whatever you want, it can be built in. So when there's a problem, if you're the warehouse manager, if you're the warehouse director, the chief operations officer, you need to know about problems when they're happening before they get really bad. And then you can delegate help to a given area, a given workflow queue, and solve a problem instead of just waiting for it to fall apart and hope for the best afterwards, okay? So by doing all these things and leveraging our visualizations in Analytics Cloud, you're going to improve your gross margin, reduce the cost of carrying inventory, accelerate your order flow through the queues each day, and limit bottlenecks and problems, which none of you want, right? So you've got to ask yourself some questions each day, right? Like, for example, do you have a target order margin or a targeted item margin? I don't know. Do you? Our founder, Pete Erdley, has an obsession with order margin. He wants to know before the order is sent to be picked, packed, and shipped, what the margin is on the order as a whole and on each line item in the order, right? Because margins in distribution are thin. And if your salespeople aren't selling things properly, or there's an issue with a piece of inventory and the cost is too high, and you're not making the correct margin or a decent margin, you're not going to be in business very long, right? So Pete has an obsession with order margins and line item margins, and we've built that into Analytics Cloud so you can become obsessed with that as well. Do you have different margin rules for orders that come in through EDI, through e-commerce, over the phone? Do you know when a priority customer has executed on an order? Right, we all have priority customers or ones that are bigger or do more business with us than most of the others. And if you can have an alert system or a mechanism by which you can watch over them as the orders come through, you can make sure that the proper resources are allocated to that customer's order or orders, hopefully, and make sure that it's sent out properly the first time. Okay. Would a bottleneck visibility tool help expedite orders faster? Do you have a hot order triage team that's available in case you run into a bottleneck that you find in Analytics Cloud? Okay. These are the kind of questions that we've been thinking about and are confident that Analytics Cloud can answer. Okay. So let's take a look at Analytics Cloud here. I'm going to exit out of my PowerPoint real quick and jump over to Analytics Cloud. Okay. See if I can blow this up some without making it too big. Emily, can you see that okay?
I sure can, Bob. It looks like we'll be able to see that just fine.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is Analytics Cloud from Cavallo. Like I said earlier, and I hate to be redundantly redundant, but there is really nothing else like this in the GP space. There are scores of tremendous ISVs that we've seen at GPUC events and in my years at GPUG, and they're all wonderful and they're great thinkers. They fill gaps that the core product doesn't do or probably never will. But the fact of the matter is, Analytics Cloud is unique. There's really nothing else like it. When you come into Analytics Cloud, okay, this is what you've come in and see, the kind of our Now dashboard. You can see at the top next to the little intelligence logo, we have a Now page, which is what you're looking at now, an Analytics tab, and a Documents tab. Over here on the left is a menu item, which I will go through later. Okay, but this is the main Now page, which is divided in half. The left side shows you open documents in your system right now. And on the right side, we've got some KPIs and other visuals that our founder, Pete Erdley, and others here that have coded distribution solutions for nearly 20 years find to be the best things for distributors to be looking at each day. Okay. Now, before I start delving into these things, take a look in the upper right-hand corner. We are currently looking at an order type of standard orders, and we are looking at a comparison of the previous 12 months. So with each of these values, you can change and look at, say, last week's orders versus this week, or last month's orders versus this month, or last year, or whatever. Okay, it's up to you when you come in here and change this drop down from previous 12 months to another date range. You can instantly get a comparison in real time. This is not one of those mechanisms that runs overnight or needs an hour to refresh or loads data 4 times a day. This is running in real time all the time. When you're logged in, you're seeing everything you want to see at that moment. So at this moment in Analytics Cloud, on the left side, we see 104 open documents in our system. 55 of them, as specified in green, are moving through the process queues faster than average. And these are the queues that we've set up in Analytics Cloud, okay? New orders, manager review, procurement, pick, pack, ship. These are the queues that a document goes through in a distribution business, in our estimation, in a given distribution business. 17 of them, as pictured in yellow, are moving slower than average. So not what we'd like to see, but not a panic situation by any means. But 32 of the 104 open documents are moving slower than average. Okay, that's about 30%. So logging in, we can tell right away that 30% of the documents are not moving right along. And the bigger red bubbles indicate a bigger order than, say, a smaller red bubble. All right, so the bubble graph will tell you which orders are problematic, and then you can drill into them and take a look. So let's come down here to procurement. I see a lot of red in the procurement queue. If I come down and bring my mouse down here, without clicking on anything, I hover over procurement, and it will show me that there are 23 orders in the procurement queue out of the 104. 6 of them are moving okay, but 5 are slower than average, and 12, more than half, are moving slower than average. Okay, what's going on here? One of them seems to be pretty large too, so I can drill into the procurement page and drill down and see what's going on here. Okay, give me a focus on procurement. Note again, in the upper right corner, we are looking at our comparisons here over the previous 12 months. So in the procurement queue, and this graph here represents all the different queues that we're looking at here, the processing time for the procurement queue is 1 hour, 23 minutes, which compared to the past 12 months is down from 2 hours, 23 minutes. That's pretty good. Okay. The document count, however, is also lower. We only have 23 documents in our document count for the procurement queue versus 12 months ago when we had 40. So that's not the greatest, unless that just means our inventory is good. We haven't had to make as many purchases to fulfill orders. Dollar-wise in procurement, we have $10,000, and that's up a little bit from 9,000. So I would say our order size is definitely getting bigger in the procurement queue. But looking down here at the bottom, we can see a view of the orders and who the customer is, who the sales rep is tied to the order, how long it's been in the queue. And in this particular instance, we're sorting this by the time in queue. So some of these orders for big customers like Amazon, Costco, and Dollar General have been in the queue, the procurement queue, which is just one of several, for almost a full day. Okay. And you can see on the right total processing time as well as an order total for each of those orders. We do have a filter here, which enables us to take a look at things like the time in queue greater than 12 hours. Okay, I only want to see the items that have been in the procurement queue for more than 12 hours. And then I can come over here and look at that big dot and say, gee, this order is for more than 14 grand. It's been in this queue for 13 and a half hours. And it's been in the overall process from the beginning for over a day. So we need to allocate some resources to figure out what's going on here, because this Amazon order has been hanging out too long and it's worth 14 grand, and we can't have it sitting here for a long time. Okay. Up here, I've got history and activity to look at as well in my procurement queue. Okay. It'll show me how my procurement queue has performed over the past 12 months. And then I can also look at activity as well as see some specifics behind some of these things. Because we're recording all this, we can make sure and see the 93 activity items that are in here, what happened, who updated what order it was, and things like that. Okay. All right, so going back to the main page here, that's how I can see what's going on in my workflow queues. Now we've set these up this way. If you decide that you've got more queues or fewer queues to set up for your workflow process, you can create them however you want. We just went with something standard, new orders, procurement, pick, pack, ship, etc. But how you set it up is up to you, and I'll show you an example of a beta customer and how they did it shortly. On the right-hand side are some KPIs, right? So once again, in the upper right-hand corner, we're looking at standard orders, comparatively speaking, with the past 12 months. Today's shipped orders, We've got 10, they value 42,000, and that is up 13% from 12 months ago. So something Pete, our owner, is also looking at is dollar value going out the door. How much are we shipping out as far as gross revenue is concerned? Here's another one he loves. Today's margin on shipped orders, 20.3%. That's up almost 4.5% from 12 months ago. Okay, if you don't have good margins on your orders and your line items, you're not going to make it, right? You're a distributor, you're working on thin margins. You got to watch that number to make sure your business is growing and scaling and moving right along. Today's dollars shipped per hour, down only a little bit, 1.2% from 12 months ago. Okay, that's not a huge concern, but certainly something I want to keep my eye on. Average time to process a shipped order, 6 hours, 11 minutes. That's down 3.4%. But since that's a good down, right, we want to see that time decrease. It gets a green indicator, even though it's down, because the less time we spend processing shipped orders, the more we can get out the door and the more happy customers we'll have in our distribution business. Further down on the right side of this page is placed versus shipped orders. Okay, so we can see that today's placed orders are 55,000, and of those 42,000 have shipped. So that's the kind of thing you can look at say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:15 in the afternoon, knowing that the parcel carriers like UPS or FedEx come by at 4:30 or 5 for their last pickup of the day. So you're going to want to keep an eye on something like that, and Analytics Cloud enables you to do so. Here's a graph here where we can see placed orders today is in one item or one graph, and then placed orders from the previous 12 months is in another one. And then you've got shipped orders today versus shipped orders 12 months ago. Consistent, easy to digest analytics on your business, real time, in front of you whenever you are logged in. Okay, that's what Analytics Cloud is all about. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side, I've got my dashboard. That's what we just looked at. We're going to enable you to put your own KPIs in on the front page here of this dashboard soon, right? For now, this is a brand new product. We picked KPIs and visualizations that our owner, who's been in distribution for over 2 decades, thinks about. So those went on there first. But if you find you have other things that you're measuring or would rather see front and center, you'll have the ability to do that very soon. Okay. We talked about the queue explorer already, looked at the procurement queue. Okay, so we can drill into each one of our workflow queues, pick, pack, ship, etc., and see precisely what's going on, because you're going to have different resources in different areas of your business all the time, and you need to know how they're performing and where the problems are. Next on the list is alerts. Okay, so we can do alerts, and so can you, however you need them to be done. Okay, we have 2 types of alerts. One is centered around orders, right, coming from customers, and one is centered around queues, part of the workflow queues that are in every distribution business, right? Pick, pack, ship, procurement, etc. So let's take a look at order alerts first. All right, I can create a new order alert, and this is very easy. Okay, anybody can do this. Setting up a new order alert is easy. I'm going to click here and give you an example of one. Okay, so here's an order where Amazon is the customer. It's a large order and it's slow in picking. So if Amazon has a big order that we're going to send to them, and they usually place big orders, and it gets to the picking queue, we probably got to think about allocating additional resources to that area, because Amazon's orders tend to be bigger than other customers in our operation. Okay, so what we're doing here is creating a new order alert when the system sees a problem, or in this case finds a big order is not as fast in the picking queue as it should be. It sends an alert, right? There's a message you can create here, and then there are send to emails for your folks or your colleagues to get emails so that they know. And in this particular case, we set up a lot of different attributes to say that if all of these conditions are met, this alert, Amazon's big order is slow in picking, will go out to the proper people who need to know about it. Okay, so in this case, order margin is greater than 20%. That's important, right? It's an important order. We want to make sure that margin stays above 20. Order total greater than 100K, With Amazon or Costco or Dell, that's usually the case. The customer class might be wholesale or retail. The time in the queue greater than 8 hours. That's not a good thing. We want to be able to pick in one day, even the big orders. And the processing time greater than 72 hours. So that's a good mix of different types of attributes that you can put in place for an alert. You may want to set up something that's more simple. If we have an order for Amazon that is processing time greater than 72 hours, and the order total on the order is greater than 100K, then the warehouse manager gets an alert in his or her mailbox. Set up a second alert with the same items, except total processing time greater than 96 hours. That goes to the COO, giving the warehouse manager 24 hours to fix a bottleneck with a large Amazon order before the COO finds out about it. Okay, so set up 2 alerts, let the right people with the boots on the ground get the initial alert and solve the problem, and then involve the COO over the warehouse and operations or whatnot when things get critical. Okay, so that's just an example, but you can set these up however you want and edit them as needed. It's not hard. We made it very simple and intuitive. You can create as many alerts as you need to make your business as functional as possible. So that's an order alert centering around orders, margin, total, time in a queue, etc. This is a queue alert if you just want to make an alert on a particular queue, right? Procurement queue, picking queue, shipping queue, etc. Okay, so here's one where we could say create a queue that looks at slow shipping or maybe high document volume. Okay, so in this particular case, we could give it a title, a message, and the proper emails. And we could say for the standard order type, which is most of the orders that we process, we are looking specifically at the picking queue, right? Because that's sometimes where things slow down. So this alert is triggered if the document count is greater than 200, the total sales is greater than 100,000 on a given document, and the time in queue is greater than 20 minutes. Okay, so if you've got a picking queue or picking resources that are not operating as efficiently as you think they should, you can create alerts and have the system look for these problems. And in this particular example, the trigger alert comes into play if all 3 conditions are met. So if you want to make yours more simplistic or you want to tie a specific customer to it or whatnot, you have the ability to do that in Cavallo Analytics Cloud. Again, whether you're processing an order alert or a queue alert, it takes a couple of minutes, and that's really it. Okay. Real quick on analytics, we have reports that we have created. Okay, this one is monthly sales, and you can see quickly what your sales look like, and you can see a summary beneath that. As time goes on, we will have the ability to let you create your own analytics, your own reports. Okay. Right now, we're not there yet, but we're getting there quickly, and we expect to have this rolled out soon. So in this particular case, the monthly sales report is pinned here because this is one that, say I'm in all the time, I want to look at monthly sales on a regular basis. I can expand this and see the whole screen and look at the summary and all that sort of thing. Okay. Now down here, we have a bunch of other reports, average to process ship, much, you know, the KPIs we saw on the initial dashboard are here in report form, right? Here's today's shipped orders. If I want to pin that one because I'm in there a lot, then I can. And I can get into that one and leave the others under the all reports. But the ability to see analytics and have reports and download them and analyze them or whatnot, or create your own, is coming soon. We started doing a little bit of the creation process now, okay, and we are looking hopefully at adding lines and bars and letting you pick that sort of thing. We're not there yet, but it's coming very soon. Okay, so that is where we are at with Analytics Cloud. Again, nothing else like it in our space. It's really amazing. Here's a couple of quick examples on the alerts. I really think these are fabulous. And again, you can have multiple attributes, teeing up an alert, okay? Customer class is Amazon. The amount's greater than 200K. The order margin's got to be over 20%. The time in a given queue, in this case, picking is over 8 hours. And on the right, you've got a specific queue alert for a specific queue. In this case, the picking queue. When we've got items more than 200, and we usually average 100, we're going to need to allocate resources to the picking area of the warehouse right now. And if we're checking on something like that each afternoon, we can kind of get an idea of whether or not we're going to be able to get everything out the door at 5 p.m. when FedEx and UPS are here. Okay. All right, so back in November, when we were all up in fabulous Fargo or attending GPUC virtually, we were signing up beta customers to check out how Analytics Cloud works in their arena. Okay, so we've taken their data and anonymized it. Okay, that's your word of the day, anonymized, and take a look to see how real companies using this application are doing. So letter A refers to the workflow queue for this beta customer of ours, and as you can see, they have 18 total queues. Right, that's a lot. That's a lot that to process. So we noted that their workflow is more complex than the average distributor, and we thought maybe they could get rid of some of those XYZ queues that don't seem to measure much, or at least find out why they're there and see if they could maybe churn that down a wee bit. Letter B is the back orders queue, okay, and it looks okay, but there are approximately 70 orders in there worth $530,000, and they're sitting in back order queues. Okay, that's a lot of money to just be sitting there waiting in back order. Letter C is looking at prepared orders queue. In there, we found 120 orders worth about 300K, and noted that 2/3 of them, or almost 2/3, are over 30 days in total processing. Okay, a lot of red in the prepared orders queue. A lot of cost sitting there, taking a long time to get prepared. And letter D was aged orders, which sounds like a disaster to begin with. In there, we found 540 documents worth 2.3 million, and 2/3 of the orders in that queue were over 30 days old. Okay, now that to me is a really big problem. 2/3 of 2.3 million, that's $1.5 million almost in quote aged orders, right? Customers don't want their orders aging. Customers want their orders delivered. They want their orders fulfilled. So that to me was the biggest problem, the biggest value that we brought to the table with Analytics Cloud and this beta customer. Here's their workflow queue values in a different graph, and you can see the back orders queue, the prepared orders queue, those are both pretty high in value, but the aged orders queue, that to me was the biggest stinker. 2.3 million in aged orders. What is going on there? On the right-hand side, you can see all the queues, the values in those queues, and then order total processing time, less than 30 days, greater than 30 days. The prepared orders queue has 89 documents that are older than 30 days, and the aged orders have 326 documents, okay? 60% of the total aged orders are greater than 30 days, 60+%. See, that right there is a problem. That is inventory cost being held way too long. And the cost of holding inventory, pardon me, you know, that's a cost that a distributor has to take into account. So this aged orders queue got to be looked at, and Analytics Cloud has analyzed it and delivered some scary but redeemable and fixable values. They just got to focus on this. Here is their old order queue. All right, we can see quickly that there's a couple of big orders there in yellow, and they're worth some pretty good money, 68 grand, 84 grand, and they've been in the queue a long time, over a month and then 46 days. Okay, on the right side, you see a couple of red dots. They're not large orders by any means, but they're old. Order number 98745 is first. It's worth $16,000, going to a specific customer, and it's been in the queue 143 days, but it's been in the old order queue 143 days of the 165 since it was created. Meanwhile, order 23925, pardon me, order totals 13 grand. That's been in the queue for 175 days of its 204 days in our system. That's a long time. Those epitomize old orders, and you don't want customers to get to a point where an old order becomes one they don't want fulfilled anymore, right? When something's getting to be this old, they've probably gone to another source to buy their inventory. Here's the back order queue for this customer. Great big dot on the top there is order 29875. It's only been in the queue for 7 days, but it's worth $137,000. So 7 of its 8 days have been in the back order queue. We need to look at what's going on here and find out how we fulfill this back order sooner than later. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, you've got order 12392. It's only $1,600, but for crying out loud, it's been in the back order queue every day of its 129-day life. We got to find out how this one got lost. It's kind of on an island there by itself. Analytics Cloud can help you prevent waiting to see where your data, so it doesn't get to 129 days old in a back order queue. Chances are customers probably not interested in that $1,600 order. So here at Cavallo, as we've designed Analytics Cloud and picked our owner's brain about what makes sense to look at, we've come up with different categories to create orders with, right? Margin category, order size, important customers, you know who those important customers are, and potential bottlenecks. Okay, so all these different areas you can create alerts around to give your team a heads up to know what's going on and where resources are needed so that bottlenecks and inefficiencies are minimized, right? We want to check on low margin orders. We want to check on larger orders that take longer to fulfill, especially if they're for an important customer. And potential bottlenecks, yeah. Slow individual orders, we got to stay on top of that. A slow process. Do we have people missing in picking today or packing today that's causing bottlenecks in the process flow? Okay, Analytics Cloud will help you determine these things sooner than later so that you can be at your highest level of efficiency. So here's the Analytics Cloud roadmap for 2022 and 2023. Okay, most of what we're going to do this year as we continue to develop this application has been hammered into stone, right? We're looking at customer risk, process performance, and sales rep performance as well during 2022, okay? This isn't just an analytics tool that's helping you with inventory and process flow. We're going to start analyzing other pieces of data, like how well are your salespeople performing? How risky is this customer versus the next one? Because those are all attributes you need to know about to work at your highest level. You want the highest performing salespeople. You want the lowest risk customers who are going to pay their bill eventually. Okay, so these and other process performance attributes will be added in 2022. The 2023 roadmap is a little less concrete. Okay, but some of the things we're looking at are inventory and purchasing analysis, getting the risk profile of an order along with cost to serve, and even bringing in outside data for your comparison purposes. So again, development way over my pay grade, but we are working diligently to make Analytics Cloud a really robust tool to look at all of your data in real time and leverage machine learning so that it gets smarter around your business once it's deployed. Okay, so here's our plan for your customer success leveraging Analytics Cloud, okay? We have a no risk trial offer. We will install partition server space and deploy your Analytics Cloud in your business free for 90 days. You will see immediate time to value because we will have everything up and running in under a day. Okay, you will get immediate insights to your data, and we will pull last year's data, 2021, into the partition space and analytics cloud so that you can do year-over-year comparisons as you try things out for 90 days. Okay, we will also check in on you. We will not just deploy this in under a day and say, okay, we'll send you an invoice in 90 days. We will check in on you and help you build alerts, give you ideas like you saw on that one slide, and help you find success with Analytics Cloud. Okay, so you get the process performance module, real-time view of your process 24 hours a day, operational KPIs put together by a distributor based on his over 2 decades of running a distribution business. The Queue Explorer, which enables you to go out and see all of your workflow queues and make sure that they are all running as expected and help you find problems if one or more orders slows down in one of those queues, and a dynamic alert builder for both orders and queues that anybody can build with 5 minutes of training, okay? It's that easy, it's that intuitive, and it's that insightful. Okay, try this for 90 days. If on the 89th day you decide as a company that you don't like this product and you don't want to pay for it, then we will turn everything off and you don't pay a dime. But if you get to that stage, I want you to call me, or I want you to call Jeremy Bogart, who's our leader of product development here at Cavallo and has over 15 years of writing software for distribution, and tell us why you didn't buy Analytics Cloud for Dynamics GP for your distribution business. Because I'm here to tell you that I don't think you're going to do that. You've got no risk, and I think after 90 days, not only will you want to sign up for this subscription that integrates to Dynamics GP, you'll ask yourself, how did we ever run our business without this data, these insights, these signals? Analytics Cloud is bringing data and decision-making capabilities to Dynamics GP businesses unlike anything else that has come down the pike before. And we're willing to let you try it free for 90 days to prove it to yourself. Don't take my word for it. Install it, call your partner, call your account manager, okay? Call somebody, an implementation specialist, and say, hey, I want to try this Cavallo Analytics Cloud for free for 90 days. We'll have it up and running in a day, and then you can try it out and make sure that you are happy before we send you the first invoice, okay? It's a good deal. You've got nothing to lose, and in many ways, lots to gain, lots of insights to learn from, and hopefully the ability to make decisions quicker so your business runs that much better. Emily, you didn't even interrupt me one time. I can't believe it.
I'm telling you, Bob, I should have, just to be fun here, but I'm not seeing any questions or any comments, and maybe they're just a little bit shy today, and that's okay too. But yep. I see here you have on your screen for any questions, if they want to reach out to you personally, here you have that listed, bob.mcadam@cavallo.com. That is so perfect, because I was going to ask you to list that if you didn't, but look at you, already knew you'd be on top of that. So thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome. And I appreciate the opportunity to present this today and see what kind of reaction we get, because I do like this product. I feel like it's got legs, not just with GP, but in other ecosystems. And what's neat is that part of our commitment to the Dynamics GP space is that Analytics Cloud is ready for GP first. The others are going to have to wait. So I like that, and I'm anxious to get this out there and have people try it out for themselves.
Very exciting, Bob, and it's such a dynamic product, and we're really appreciated you're willing to come on today and explain it for us, and explain it so well. You are an excellent presenter and had your PowerPoint ready too. And honestly, yes, anyone interested in this product, contact Bob, because this could be changing very much so positively for your business. This is great. Thank you again so much, Bob.
Thank you, Emily, and hope all is well there, and hope to see you in person again soon.
That sounds great. We hope to see you and other attendees at GPUC and Fabulous Fargo this fall, coming up before we know it, isn't it? Life moves fast. So thanks again so much, Bob, and you take care.
All right, you too, Emily. Bye-bye.